Well, good morning. Well, I guess, I don't know when you're watching, but we're filming this in the morning. On Tuesday mornings, we film at Proctor's. I'm Ann Pearl, your host for Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. I'm so glad that you're joining us today. We have a really great lineup. We're going to be starting out. Our first segment that we have listed is the family players of Northeastern New York. And they are unable to be here. They had a last minute cancellation, so they're not here. But I do want to announce that what's coming up. They are going to be performing Disney's The Little Mermaid, and that will be performed at Schenectady Light Opera building, and it's on their stage, and it's the 12th through the 16th, and it's general admission if you'd like to bring the kids and enjoy a really wonderful Disney production. It's called The Little Mermaid, and it will be starring Matthew Boyce, who, as you may know, is one of the Elvis tribute artists, but he's not going to be doing Elvis, but he will be playing Prince Eric, and Courtney Harrington will be performing as Ariel. So if you'd like to check that out, I did want to announce that for them. Then our first guests will be from Class Afloat, and we're going to hear all about that wonderful experience that kids have, seniors in high school and beyond. And then we're going to be hearing about Run the Ridge, which is going to be a fabulous event if you want to have a lot of fun and don't mind getting dirty. We'll tell you all about Run the Ridge at Maple Ski Ridge. And then we're going to be talking about the Little Free Pantry, which is over at the Bellevue Reformed Church. We'll hear about that. Catholic Charities is with us also, and they will be talking about senior and caregiving services that they offer and work with and the programs that they have. And then we're going to hear about, Carl Building has taken on a few faces, and there's a new face coming up with the former Carl Building, and you'll hear all about that. That's going to be up on the 3rd floor, as well as some other renovations that are going on in the area. My breaks today, I do want to mention that Summer Night is coming up, and that will be on Friday, coming up this week. And so we're going to be showing you some films from a previous year. I think it was 2013 or something. I can't remember what year it was. But we want to remind you that they've got some great lineup. The Blues Travelers are going to be there, and a number of really wonderful musical. And there's going to be food and fun for the family, and it's a summer night that is, and fireworks too, unless you've had your fill of fireworks. That's coming up as well. But we're going to start right out with our first guest, and we're going to be speaking with Chris Trow. He's way at the end there, and then in the middle we have Sky, and then right next to me is Megan. Megan Griesmer has just returned. You've just returned, right, from your trip. Sky is getting ready to go, and Chris, you're the cheerleader, right?
I'm a cheerleader, yes.
Yeah, and you're on the board of the.
I'm the admiral.
The admiral. Yeah. Okay, good. Where's your hat?
I got to get one. Yeah.
You got to get the admiral's hat. Megan, what was it like to? Now, first of all, why don't we ask Chris, what is a Class Afloat, and then we're going to find out from Megan what her experience was.
Okay, Class Afloat is a school on a tall mast sailing ship. It's a Canadian school, and it's been around for 32 years. And they have a school for first-year university students, and also for grade 11 and grade 12.
Oh, okay.
It's a Canadian school. It sails out of a Canadian. It's a Canadian school, but it sails out of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And
that's where they start.
That's where the ship starts, and that's generally where it ends.
So they have to fly there.
They have to fly there.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Now, these kids are sponsored by my foundation, the Class Afloat Foundation USA. And they are graduates of the Schenectady High School, and for the most part, they're part of the Sponsor a Scholar program in the Schenectady High School.
Okay, and there is a charge for it, right? There's a charge to go into this program.
And in the case of these kids, these kids get a free
scholarship.
ride, and it's a scholarship from Class Afloat Foundation
Wonderful.
USA, and we pay for their 2 terms on the ship. So they get on the ship in September, and they're done around about the end of May, early June, if they do the student.
So it's a full year.
Full year, and they're taking academic classes, first-year university classes.
Is this a substitute for being at the high school, or is this?
Well, no, these kids are all graduates. Or what? The kids that my foundation is sending are all graduates of Schenectady High School.
Oh, so this is with the interim year between college and high school.
Yeah, and they get credits for their year of university courses that they do while they're at school.
Oh,
and
that's good.
It's associated with Acadia University in Nova Scotia, Canada.
Okay.
And so it's very, very good university. It's a very international school. So that's where their professors are, but they're on the ship and they do a distance learning model.
Okay.
And so they're studying their academic classes, and then they're also learning about sailing. They're visiting cities around the world, around the Atlantic, so they're sailing in the Atlantic. And so they get there's a lot of dimensions to the experiences that they have. The kids on the ship, there's as many as 60 kids on the ship, and the kids are from around the world.
And so they get to meet a lot of different people too, right? I mean, from different countries. Did we have the map up? I was going to say if we had the map up, we could kind of just take a quick look to what that was, the trip is. I'm not sure whether.
Yeah, so they cross the Atlantic.
There's the map,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they cross the Atlantic twice. They cross the equator twice, and this year, the year coming up, they're going to be going into the Mediterranean for a little bit.
And they go to South Africa, and they go
last year, the cruise went all the way down to Buenos Aires and then Cape Town, and so they did get to see the Southern Atlantic. This year, they're not. They're going to spend some time in the Mediterranean.
Oh, okay.
So there's only so much time in 9 months, and so they don't always go to the South Atlantic. But they do cross the equator. They go to Senegal. They'll be spending 2 days in Senegal, and that'll be part of that will be a homestay with a family in Senegal.
So they leave the ship.
They absolutely leave the ship, yes, and it's all very well supervised when they leave the ship. So there's usually port programs. When they get to a port, there's a port program. Something's been organized that they do while they're there. And they also get some free time as well in the port, but it's
well, let's go to Megan and find out what was this like, Megan. Was it everything you expected? Because Sky's going to have to find out about it.
Yeah, it was everything I expected and more. To be honest, it was the best year of my life, but also like the most stressful.
So far.
Yeah, so far. But I find it hard to believe that something will be this life-changing and this amazing. Yeah.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah. So it changed me a lot. I'm definitely a different person than I was last year. I'm more confident. I'm more.
And you were on the show before. I mean, before you left.
Yeah. I came on the show too, just like Sky. It came full circle now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. I went to Morocco one night, and like we stayed in the Sahara Desert, and like as a little kid, I've always wanted to go to Africa, and my mom would have to tell me, listen, you're probably not going to be able to go because it costs money and like it's so far away, and like you have to take a plane. But I didn't take a plane; I took a ship, which is not what we expected.
And you never expected that.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. So since now that I've done that, I know I can probably do whatever I want to do in my life as long as it's productive.
Because you've accomplished something.
Yeah. And it was definitely something I've always wanted to do since I was little. So being able to do that, and knowing that I did that now is just like inspiring. And really
did you kind of check off all the countries that you were in, or?
Yeah, actually, right before I came here, I was like filling out a map of places I've been, and it's surprisingly very full now.
Isn't that nice?
But I want to go to more. Like after doing this, I definitely don't want to stop traveling. So I'll do more for sure.
On a ship?
Hopefully, maybe on a ship. Probably on planes, but it would be really nice to go on a ship. I definitely have.
Did you learn anything about, mastering sailing?
Yeah. One of the main things on the ship is sail training. So I know how to set a sail now, which is really cool. I know how to, for 3 days out of the year, the kids took over the ship for 24 hours, and the captain just stood by and made sure no one did anything terrible, but nothing ever bad.
Well, you're not going to run into anything,
no,
probably.
Probably not. Actually, one of the takeover days was sailing into a port. So that was, and the captain was a 16-year-old boy. So that day, so that was but he did perfectly, and we all did a really amazing job, I think.
And what when you. Did you have any rough weather that you had to?
Oh, yeah. The one morning at 5 a.m., I heard my friend Bella actually came into the dorms. We were all sleeping and screamed that the main preventer had snapped and that one of the sails was just going crazy. It's our biggest sail. So one of our sails was going crazy, and we had to take it down, and we had to take out all the sails and set one sail that was supposed to make the ship sturdy. And we all did that in an hour, and we all knew how to do it, which was pretty amazing. And none of us freaked out.
Team building, right?
Yeah.
Sky, what do you expect to get out of this trip? Now that you've heard this and you've heard that, and I'm sure you've had sort of a primer on it, that somebody's kind of explained all this to you, what do you think you're going to get out of this trip?
Well, I've always wanted to travel. because I think that when you stay in one place your whole life, you have such a like limited worldview.
Exactly. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to travel so that I could like experience things that I'd never be able to experience here, learn things that I'd never be able to experience by staying, you know, in one place. So I'm hoping this trip will really be able to like enrich me as a person.
And how do you feel about sailing? I mean, it's not like you're just flying one place and popping on a plane and going to the next one. You're going to be on a ship,
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm always up for like learning new things and learning how to like set sails and stuff. That sounds really cool. And I don't know, maybe resourceful. Maybe one day that'll come in handy.
You never know, right? And so what courses do you plan to take?
I'm taking marine biology because I want to study zoology when I come back, and I'm taking nutrition, advanced English, sociology, and psychology.
Okay, and what college or university are you thinking of attending?
Oswego.
Oswego, and how about you?
Potsdam.
Potsdam. Oh, you're going to go way up north then.
Yeah, I want to be
Good, close to Canada. There, you're going to be up there, close there. The idea of what even brought this to your attention? I mean, this is not something, I mean, I had ever heard about until Chris came on. But it was like, how did you find out about this? Did they solicit you, or did they put something up on the bulletin board? What happened?
Well, I was like talking my guidance counselor's ear off about how I wanted to like travel abroad for school and stuff. And then at the beginning of this school year, he came up to me and he was like, there's this program called Class Afloat. I want to introduce you to the guy Chris. And so he made it happen, and I met Chris, and then just all the rest of the stuff happened.
How exciting.
Yeah.
So you do one student a year, is that pretty much it?
Yeah, one.
Because it's an expensive program.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the students have to be special students, and I want to give some credits to Earl Barcombe, who's the guidance counselor that I work with at Schenectady High School. He just has a knack for picking out the right kind of student, because it's not any student can go. It has to be the person with the right kind of mental attitude and self-confidence.
Because they're going to be gone a year, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's a very different experience, and these kids have never left the country before for the most part, so everything's totally new. It's a lunar shot.
They have to have their passports.
I like to talk about
They have to have their passports.
They have to have their passport, but this is the shot to the moon. I mean, for them, it really is.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Mr. Barcombe does a great job.
Now, I guess one question I would have is, what if somebody is watching and said, this would be great for my kid, and I'd be glad to pay? Is that
yeah, they just go to the Class Afloat website and sign up. It's an open school. Anybody can apply.
There's just so many spots.
There's only 60 seats each year, yeah, and you have to apply, and there's some rigor associated with the application, but anybody can apply, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Megan. So Megan, when you were on this sailing adventure, I guess I'd call it, how many countries were represented in your 60 students?
Well,
Roughly.
we actually had about 30 students. It really wasn't that full, which is crazy. But I think there was about, I want to say 10 at least.
10 different countries. So
Yeah.
you're not only visiting countries, you're also
Meeting
learning
people.
from students that are from other countries. They may
Yeah.
not even be the countries you're going to go visit, but you're learning. So you really are expanding.
Yeah.
Sky, I can't believe you're going to do this. This is going to be
I'm really
wonderful.
And I'll add to it. I mean, there's a crew. The crew on the ship is Dutch, and they're all younger people who are selected specifically to be on a sail training school. And then there's the teachers, who are mostly Canadian teachers, but they're all adventurers to the core, and they're just very, very interesting people. So.
Well, you've been hearing about Class Afloat from Chris Trow, and we have Sky. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, Sky.
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson. I knew that. I was thinking Harrington with the other one, and Megan Griesmer. And this is very exciting. If you want to learn more about Class Afloat, you can go to their websites to learn a little bit more about it and give these kids a hand. I'm telling you, you did some really great stuff there, going out there and doing that. We're going to take a quick break and look at Summer Night. And remember, you can go to Summer Night this coming Friday. Stay tuned.
Record.
Okay, running the ridge at Maple Ski Ridge seems like an adventure. We were just talking about a sailing adventure. You guys have a mud adventure?
Yeah.
We have Carolyn and Marilyn with us. So, and they're from Maple Ski Ridge over on Moriville Road in Rotterdam, and you're going to tell us about running the ridge. 5K?
Yeah, it's a 5K mud run, obstacle course. As of right now, we have 32 obstacles set up.
I was amazed when I saw the pictures. It was like, we'll be showing you the pictures on here, but you even got them like walking up the side of a wall. I mean, what is this?
It's an obstacle run, kind of like Ninja Warrior type thing.
Okay.
It's to raise funds for Special Olympics, and
So
it's
have you
fun.
run the ridge?
I've walked it.
Oh, what a wimp.
I test every obstacle, so they are doable for anybody.
But is this a race, Marilyn? Is this a race?
We do have what we call the Fast and Furious. That's the first heat that goes out, and that's for people that are really serious about challenging themselves and coming out with the best time. After that, we run a heat every 30 minutes, and is it every 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Or every 30 minutes, and those are your own. You set your own goals. Now there is a timer, but there's no way, you set your own time.
Okay.
I will tell you my experience. I ran the ridge, and
ran
I
the
was
ridge?
first in the heat after me. Okay. Yes. So yes, I did complete it, but yes, I was slow. But
Yeah, well, if you're
but I
slow
had a
enough, you'll
great
come
time.
out.
I had a great time.
Good.
So.
What made you come up with that? Whose idea was this?
Oh gosh.
we came up with it in 2013.
Okay, so it's only been a few years.
We were raising funds for veterans, and we thought nothing like basic training to raise funds for
Well,
veterans.
that's what I was kidding about before the show. I says this is like going to Quantico to, get the FBI training and stuff like that, where you go through the rigors of that. It's pretty much like that, except, you're not going to live or die with it, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Definitely gonna live.
A lot of what we have to offer is even just the natural terrain. They are actually going to run up one of our steepest slopes.
Because you're a ski.
We're a ski area.
Yeah.
So they're going to run up a black diamond, and that's
This is
They have a lot of fun.
Now, is there an age limit, or can people still sign up, first of all?
Yes, people can sign up right until the day of the
start.
event.
Okay.
And we do have a family 2K.
Okay.
So if you're unsure you want to run a whole 5K and you want to try a 2K, we do have the family fun 2K.
And how young can kids be?
We have had them, I think, it was like
24
20,
months,
and I
or
think it
just-
was like 14 months. Mom and dad carried the child most
On
of
their
the
back.
time,
Oh, yeah.
allowed the child to walk through each obstacle type of thing when they could, and they had a ball.
Well, this is like...
We have a lot of grandparents that come.
I was just saying that this is like something I was not familiar with. And I don't think there are a lot of these around. There may be way out west where they, are training.
There's some big companies that do that, but we're independent. We do all different obstacles. I should say the course is different every year. The obstacles are placed different every year. And there are
So if you've been there once,
it's different every time.
every year.
And there are new obstacles, they're added every year. So it is exciting, and there's this year there'll be swimming, there'll be fire, there's everything.
It's like the big runs that are out there, the well-known ones.
They'll climb walls, they'll climb tires, there's a lot of climbing this year.
What a wonderful way to challenge yourself.
It is, and it is a team builder. I know that one of my other businesses that I run, they go as a team, and it builds team spirit. They help each other over the obstacles, they help each other through, and it really is a lot of fun that way.
Well, I think it's a great idea. Now this is like summer at Maple Ski Ridge, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Do you have any other events that you go do in the summer?
Right now we have summer camp going on for
Okay.
children ages 6
To 14.
to 14, I believe. Day camp. So
that's
it's from
nice.
9 to 4 every day. Each week has a different theme.
This week is the mud run.
It's
So the kids at camp are having a great
mud
time.
run.
They're climbing obstacles and having all kinds of fun in the mud.
And they're going to tell their parents, Mom and
they
Dad,
love
you
it.
have to do
Yeah.
this. This is the coolest thing ever.
They have a different theme every week, and they're outside and unplugged. No electronics.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm so glad to hear that. Occasionally, you know, when they have these events and they say no electronics, I go, oh, thank you, you know, because
Yeah.
kids get lost in that
They do.
stuff.
We also have a health and wellness fair, September 9th, I believe.
Okay.
And our fall festival,
Our fall festival, which is October 7th.
which
Okay.
raises money for Camp Bravehearts.
Okay. What camp is that?
That is a oncology camp
Okay.
for women.
Okay.
So,
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Where is that located?
I believe Lake Luzerne, but
Okay,
I'm not
so it's in New
positive.
York State.
It's local. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yep.
aware of that,
Yep.
so that's
Yeah.
good. So this is what you do in the summer. What do you do in the winter?
We ski
We
and
ski
tube
and tube and snowboard.
and snowboard.
Oh, so you have all three that,
yeah, they do everything.
And
They
do
teach.
people rent things there, or do they?
Yeah,
We have a full rental
Yeah.
shop. We have skis, you know, and snowboards. The tubes are there and available at the tubing park. And we have a terrific ski school. And so if you've never done it, you can certainly come out and
try
learn.
it. Yeah, learn.
And it is fun. It's
Safety, right? Safety
close,
first.
and we're highly, you know, known for our beginner area.
And what's really nice is it's really local.
It is.
Yeah, we
Yes.
are local.
Yeah.
And we've been here for 53 years.
Oh, you've been
now,
here
or
a long
54,
time.
Yeah. Yep.
Was it Nancy Peterson?
No.
I don't know. Who's the Peterson that was giving classes years
Oh,
ago?
Freddie
That was-
Anderson.
Freddie
Anderson.
Anderson.
Freddie
That's
Anderson.
okay.
Where'd I
That's
get
okay.
Peterson?
Peterson is
my
Maryland.
Yeah, no, I know that. That's
Yeah.
why I thought it was a
Freddie
really-
Anderson,
Freddie
ran
Anderson.
the
Yes.
Schenectady Ski
Ski
School,
school
and
for
they were
years.
at Maple Ski Ridge for years.
I had an
yes.
interview with her. I did a wonderful interview
She's
with her.
a great woman.
Yeah,
Yes, she is.
yeah, and she was still giving lessons way back when.
Yes, she
10,
was.
15 years ago,
Yep.
I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So if you're interested in learning about this event, which to me it's got to be a highlight of something different to do. We go to concerts and we, you know, go to food fairs and we do all this stuff. But here's something you can really get your hands in, right? Muddy waters. No, but the idea is that you could challenge yourself by trying to get it at the best time, or you could just go with your family and help the kids when they can't make it quite so high and do it as a family. So you would do this as a family all together doing it. You don't do kids at one place.
Nope.
No,
it
the family
all
fun
together.
run is for everyone. They
Yeah.
do it together.
Good.
It's fun.
And if you don't want to do it this year, you can come check it out this year. So next year
Oh,
you'll
you
be
can
ready.
come and watch it?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Good.
So-
Ooh.
You can be a spectator as well.
Yeah.
So.
This is a really great event, and I think it's a great event to go see. And maybe I'll just go and watch. And
There
see.
you go.
We'd love to
Not
see
we
you.
would
sure
love
that
to
I'm
see
going to
you.
get my mud through my toes or anything, but anyway. But we've been talking with Carolyn is sitting next to me. Marilyn is over there. Marilyn Peterson, as we mentioned, and then Carolyn Lahar is here. So we're very excited to bring this wonderful event to you and find out more about it. We didn't say the date.
Oh, it's this
Saturday.
coming Saturday.
It's coming Saturday.
July 15th.
And you don't need to sign up ahead. You can go show up. What should you wear?
Old clothing.
Old clothes.
And sneakers.
And
probably.
Sneakers
sneakers.
that you want to get muddy.
Yeah.
And bring a change of clothes and a bag to put your dirty clothes in.
Okay, there you go. You've got all the details
And
are
we
right
do
here.
we do have a rinse off station.
Oh, rinse offs.
Yes.
That's got to be fun. The hoses. So you can have fun whether you're dirty or trying to get clean too. You're going to have a good time. We're going to take a quick break and go back to summer night. And when we come back, we're going to find out about the Bellevue Reformed Church and what they're doing to help to get a little food out there to people who might need it. So stay tuned and take a look at summer night. Good.
here.
And here we are back again. I have Nicole Gentile with me today. She is a church member. She's also part of the mission committee. And it's the Bellevue Reformed Church. It's right up Broadway, and it's right up towards the front top of the Broadway, across from CVS or something. You're right.
Where the CVS used to be.
Yeah. Oh, it isn't there anymore?
No, it moved.
It moved. Oh, who knows what's going on? But anyway, we're going to find out a little bit about the idea, the concept, and the idea, and we're going to show some photos of that as well. So, Nicole, how did you get involved, and whose idea was this?
This was my idea. I found it on Facebook, actually. So basically, it takes the idea of the little free library, which they have out in Albany.
Yep.
And so someone somewhere thought, why not put food in it? So that's what we decided to do. We decided to give it a shot. Bellevue doesn't have a food pantry. I discovered throughout the year. I've been working as an AmeriCorps Vista through the county, mapping out all the resources.
Yeah,
in the
they have
county.
AmeriCorps does a great job.
Yeah. So I discovered that there was no pantry there, and I've been going to church there my entire life.
Okay.
So I really wanted to try to do something about it.
So so you got this idea.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I joined the mission committee this past year. So we're in charge of all the missions that our church does, and I kind of just brought it to them as a concept. I'm really passionate about food security. I think people should be fed. It should be a right, not a privilege.
Absolutely, that's right.
And so I brought it to them. They were really excited about it. Then I had to bring it to our consistory, which is like the ruling body in the Reformed Church.
Okay.
And so I brought it to them, and everybody was really excited about the idea. It is a little bit of a risk. There were some things that could have gone wrong, and so far it's been really successful.
So we should take a look at a photo of the little pantry, because it's not huge, but it holds a lot when you look at the shelf and see what's there. So how do you get the food in there?
Well, what we do,
and that's a great shot there, right there.
Yeah, that was the day that we actually filled the pantry for the first time. We had a blessing in June on Father's Day, actually.
Okay.
And so what we do is we ask, the motto of the pantry is take what you need, give what you can, everything is a blessing.
Okay.
So we're asking the community to really rally around this idea, and people have been donating food right into the pantry.
Directly, you don't even know that something's in there.
Yeah, a lot of times things come in and out before we see it.
Yeah.
And we stock some food in the church. People from the church donate, and we put out food every day.
And you're looking at things like canned foods or something.
Non-perishable food items.
And so we can't go. Well, just give us an idea of what people might put in there.
A lot of things that have been going, like soup is a big one. Chili, canned vegetables, canned fruits are really nice. A lot of people really like getting that. Pasta, mac and cheese, pasta sauce, canned meats like tuna, salmon, things like that.
How is this going to be handled in the winter?
That was one of the questions that our consistory had for us. So what we're going to do is the food that we put in the morning, the next day is always gone. So it's gone within 24 hours.
Okay.
So we're not really concerned about things freezing, but we're going to
it's going to be pretty fast.
Yeah, but we are going to try to move more towards boxed foods and things that won't freeze. So, and that was something that we were thinking about in the summer. If things are really hot, like we don't really want mayonnaise in there because that could spoil in the heat. So we've been trying to adjust based on weather.
Yeah. Okay. So so you're thinking about if it's going to be 106 out. Well, hopefully it isn't. But if it is, then you would kind of think about that. Maybe take some of those things out and bring them inside, and then put them back out again after.
Right.
And this is accessible to anyone who wants to walk up to it and take a few things out and maybe add a few things.
Right. Yeah. It's open all the time. It's on the exterior wall of our church.
Okay.
So you don't have to go inside of the church to get the food. The cabinet is out there. It's always unlocked. We try to make sure that there's food in it all the time, but it's really dependent.
Who's responsible for that?
For the pantry itself.
Yeah.
We kind of took it under our wing.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a committee of 4 people. Someone who lives next door above. Our church also runs a cafe, a small cafe.
I think we're going to be talking about that, because I think we should talk about Ruth's Place.
Yeah.
And I think we should mention the cafe.
Jacob's Well.
Jacob's Well.
Yeah.
They have this is a very progressive church in the sense that they're very community minded.
Yes.
And they seem to have, not just nurturing the soul, it's nurturing the community as well. Is that what?
Yeah.
Great. So let's talk about the Jacob's Well, because I've eaten there. The food is very good.
It's fantastic. So basically that building came up for sale, and our church kind of just took a leap of faith and jumped on it. So we opened half the building as a cafe and then half as a thrift store. Everything's really low cost. We operate at cost at Jacob's Well, so everything is relatively cheap because we're not trying to make a profit. We're trying to give people a place
You have to sustain
come.
yourself, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
because you have to buy dishes and stuff like that, so you have to make a little profit. Yeah.
Right. But there is apartments above the cafe, so that kind of helps pay
supplements
for things.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then we go to Ruth's Place, which I have to say is just well displayed. It's just it's not just a store with everything thrown in. It's very well displayed, and everything is just really pristine and clean and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the volunteers there work really hard.
Yeah, they work very hard at it. So if you would like to learn perhaps a little bit more about the little free pantry, tell us exactly where you're located. Is there a number on the church?
It's 2000 Broadway.
Okay.
It is across from where there used to be a Stewart's and a CVS there.
Okay.
And both of them have now moved, but that is the basic location.
Okay.
And then Jacob's Well and Ruth's Place are actually like just one building over, pretty much.
And what about parking? Can they park on the street or?
Yep, there's street parking all around the building, and then since CVS is gone, people often just stop in that lot. Yeah.
Okay, well, you got an idea of where it is, and maybe you don't need anything, but maybe you have a few things in your cupboard that you bought when they had a really great sale on those canned goods, and you bought a whole bunch, and you go, why did I buy so many? But it was such a good buy. Bring them on over and stack them in there, right?
I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to have met you and known that you're doing such good things for the community. And it's the Bellevue Reformed Church on Upper Broadway, 2000 Broadway. Check it out, and check out their Ruth's Place. You'll find a bargain there,
for sure.
And their food is great over at Jacob's Well, and they always have really interesting dishes and things. Just good food. Good food. Wraps and all kinds of things. So we've been talking to Nicole Gentile, and we're very happy to have her today. She is a church member and also part of the mission committee, and they're doing a really great job of working with the community and working in the community and serving the community. Did I hit it all? I think we did. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go back to Summer Night back in, I think, 2013. And then when we come back, we're going to hear from Catholic Charities and what they're doing to help seniors and caregivers. So find out about that. Stay tuned. Got everything in? I didn't miss something.
Right time for the
I know. Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. How you guys doing? We're doing
Oh my gosh, Summer Night, I can't wait. You ever been to Summer Night?
I have not. I'll have to check it out.
You're kidding. You've never been?
No, I haven't been in Schenectady all that long, so.
It is a wonderful event, and it's funny because I worked at it a couple years ago. I worked at it a number of years, but anyways, and a woman came up to me and she says, "This is the most wonderful event." And I said, "Well, yeah, it is. I mean, there's thousands of people. I mean, it's big." And she says, "Do you do this every week?" And can you imagine?
Like every week? Yeah, sure.
It's like, we've got 10 bands. Oh, sure, we do this every week, But she says, "I'm not from this area." She says, "I think this is wonderful."
Yeah.
But talking about wonderful things, we have Catholic Charities, which has so many programs. But we're basically here to talk about their services for seniors and also for caregivers. And this seems to be such a growing need for this. And so Marlene, tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Our agency is Catholic Charities Senior and Caregiver Support Services. We're a relatively new agency of Catholic Charities. We do serve, even though we're based in Schenectady, we serve all 14 counties within the Catholic Charities Diocese. So
oh my gosh.
We do cover a lot of territory. So the services that we provide, it varies by county. So we have everything from Meals on Wheels, a home-delivered meals program, transportation.
I heard that was cut, but it's...
No, the Meals on Wheels program, it's one of some of the funding at the federal level is one of the ones that's on the chopping block. For Schenectady County, for the program that we run, that funding is not at risk.
At risk, okay.
It's a different funding stream. Every county uses a different funding stream.
I understand, okay.
So we have that program. We have transportation services that we provide. We have congregate dining sites, 4 different dining sites throughout Schenectady County.
Tell me more about that.
There's 4 dining centers. They're called congregate dining sites or meal centers. Cafes where people can come to have a hot lunch and socialize and engage in activities every day.
Okay.
The 4 sites, we have one right at the 10 Ike apartment building on Broadway.
Okay, which is kind of a senior housing.
Yes.
No,
no, it's a Section 8.
Yes,
more of a Section 8 housing. We have one site that's out at the Jewish Community Center that runs 3 days a week.
In Schenectady?
In Schenectady,
Okay,
and that's a
that's
kosher
on Balltown
site.
Road.
It's on Balltown Road. That's a kosher site.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yep, and they've been doing it for about 40 years. We have one out in Duanesburg, 3 days a week, and then we have one at the Scotia Glenville Senior Center that run 5 days a week.
So you have at different locations?
Right, different locations throughout the county where seniors can come, and we do have transportation that can help get some people there if they need transportation.
And
for the dining.
is the food, is it the same at all centers? Granted, the kosher might be different, but...
Right. Well, the kosher actually still has to follow the menu. It's just cooked according to kosher rules.
Okay.
So the kitchen is totally kosher.
Okay.
The Scotia Glenville site and the 10 Ike site have the same food. We purchase that food relatively pre-cooked, and so we serve it that way. The Duanesburg site and the Jewish Community Center site cook that fresh every day that they're there.
Okay.
But they do have to follow the same menu that has to be approved by a dietitian.
Oh, okay. So it's not just what we got on sale today.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
So you have that's really, was not aware of this. Right. How do people find out about this?
Well, for the programs in Schenectady
they're here
County,
today, listening, watching Schenectady Today, you find out here.
Right, and we also, Schenectady County Catholic Charities has really been around for about 75 years, so there's been a lot of word of mouth, but it's changed over the years. So we work with the New York State Office for the Aging and the Schenectady County
so
Senior
you work with
Long-Term Care. They do advertising through there. We do have a Facebook page. We do have a website. So information
So the word is
out
getting
there.
out. Yeah.
So the
and
word
if you
is out
get
there.
involved with a senior center, you're going to learn about these programs.
Right. And if you call, most people think to call the Office for the Aging as soon as they're looking for some type of support as a senior or for a family member or whatever, and then they always refer to us too.
Which brings the next topic, which I don't want to skip any of the other, but caregivers, because it's part of life now is that you're caregiving.
Absolutely.
People are living longer and they're living ill or something. Right. There's such a word, I don't know. But not as well.
More challenges, right. So our caregiver support program, we do cover 14 counties with the caregiver support program. And we have 2 different segments of it, if you will. One that specializes on working with caregivers of individuals with Alzheimer's or other dementia.
Memory care.
Right. Or then we also have one that serves with just anybody that's a caregiver of anybody for whatever, no diagnosis specific. So the staff are able to provide that one-on-one telephone support and counseling to the caregivers, identify resources for them, help them get connected to other services. Our funding allows us to have some grant funding to pay for respite care. So if the caregiver needs a break or wants to be able to go out to their regular church activity or bingo or board meeting or
just
whatever.
Get away. You need to take a break.
We're able to help pay for some of those respite services, as well as give them information about any of the other services that are out there. So it's a huge need. We have very little funding to cover 14 counties, so it usually gets used up pretty quickly.
Now, is this covered by any like Medicaid or Medicare or any of that?
No, we don't work with individuals who are on Medicaid. If people are on Medicaid and if they're on long-term managed care Medicaid, a lot of those insurance companies pay for it separately and they access other services. So this program and our agency as a whole really tries to focus in on those people that are in that gap, that have just Medicare.
I was going to say you're covering the ones
that don't have the Medicaid, they're in between, they don't want to have to spend down so that they can get the Medicaid. So we're really trying to fill in for those folks that can't get services elsewhere, that don't have other services.
You mentioned people that caregivers. What about things like techniques like having a button or something? And is that something that you work with? You know, that they can
Oh,
call
like
button.
lifelines, things.
Yeah.
We help people get connected to those services.
Okay.
Again, depending on what the situation is.
Because that might be the first step.
Right, right. There's a variety of types of places that do the lifelines.
Yeah.
There's a variety of types of devices. If people have a loved one at home with Alzheimer's, they may need all sorts of safety devices around their home for alarms and to stop wandering and things. So we connect them with the agencies or the Alzheimer's Association that we know that can help provide those types of things.
You have a big
or with
job.
other it's a big agency. I've got a great, dedicated staff that are out there really. I mean, that's, again, as a mission of Catholic Charities to serve these people. So we try and cover a lot of territory.
So do you do caregiving? I mean, in other words, do you have a crew, or not crew, staff or employees? I don't know, are they volunteers? I'm not sure what they are. But like somebody needs someone to do their shopping for them or to take them to the doctor.
Right.
Is that part of
that? Right now, that's a part of the agency that we're just building and what we want to be able to build. And so we have a need for volunteers to do that.
So that you tell people?
Absolutely. I mean, we have for the caregiver support program in particular, they're out there meeting these families in their home and seeing what their needs are. And maybe they just need somebody to come by and visit with them, or to check on them, take them grocery shopping. And there are no services out there available to do that, either paid or otherwise. We use some paid respite providers for that need that more hands-on type medical care, but for the home visitors, the grocery shopping, the help with some informal transportation, we're looking to recruit volunteers across all 14 counties that we serve to be able to do that and build them into our caregiver support program.
So do you have so sometimes people just need to be called. Are you okay today? Is that part of what you do? Or do you have volunteers that do that?
We don't have any volunteers right now that do that. And again, that's something we're just building that program.
So you need volunteers.
We need volunteers not only for that program, but we need volunteers for all of our programs. We're really for our Meals on Wheels program to deliver the home meals. We have people that are waiting to get these meals, and we don't have the funding to be able to hire more drivers. So we want volunteers to go out and do the home delivery. We need volunteers to help with transportation.
Okay, let's back off.
Okay.
Say somebody's watching and say, well, I've got a few hours a day. I could help maybe deliver food. What would they need? Is there a process, a vetting process?
There is a vetting process. What they would do is they could go to our website, and their volunteer application is on there, or they could call the office and we could tell them, what they need to do. Basically, they need to fill out an application. If they call the office, we'll connect them. There's various program managers for each of the types of services, so they would meet with that person.
They could fit
whatever it is that they were interested in doing.
Okay.
Right. And then depending on what the service was, there may be a background check if they're going to be spending time. So if someone is delivering home delivered meals, they would have to go through a background check.
Yeah, because you're going to go into the person's
if
home.
Someone is
even if you don't go into the home, you're still going to the home.
Right. You're going to be spending substantial time alone with them, so that's kind of our line for where we do that. But if you're going to be helping in a congregate dining site where you're going to be with a whole group of people, then we don't do the background check. So we talk with folks, we find out what their interests are, what their skills are, and then match them up with what our needs are. We can pretty much always, and if there's folks that are interested in doing more office type work, we always need volunteers in our office as well.
So you have a fit for almost anyone.
Anyone. Yep.
And what would be the time commitment for people to volunteer?
Well, again, it varies for every program. Meals on Wheels, it would be a minimum of 3 hours for every day that they wanted to do that. We have some folks that do it 1 day. We have some folks that do it 2 days. We have, and then for the congregate dining, some of them are 3 days a week, but you can only do it once. So whatever they commit to is what we are looking for.
But there should be a commitment
Absolutely.
too. Yeah. In other words, don't say, well, I'll try it, and then maybe if I won't.
Right.
But if you commit to going on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, then you should be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Right.
Is that correct?
Exactly. Especially for some of the service delivery programs, because if these people are counting on these volunteers to get their meals, we can't let 20 seniors go without their lunch because of the volunteer didn't show up.
Exactly. So you run into problems in the winter, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that gets hard. Another area that we really that we need a lot of volunteers in too that I haven't mentioned is we sponsor the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, which is a program that provides ombudsman in all long-term care facilities. So that is
you check on them.
They don't check on them. They're there to protect the residents' rights. So if residents have a complaint that they feel like they're being treated unfairly.
But the family member may also come to you. Is that correct?
Right. The family member can come to the ombudsman.
They've got a bed sore. Why do they have a bed sore?
Right. Right, and we use all volunteers for all of the long-term care ombudsmen. So we have about 90 facilities that we have to have volunteers in across 10 counties that we do the long-term ombudsman program in. So again, call the office or check our website for volunteering. That's a little bit more rigorous in terms of what folks have to do. There is a 36-hour training that they have to go through to be an ombudsman.
But it must be gratifying to know that you're helping someone.
And there's a 4-hour-a-week time commitment that goes to that one that people have to do. So that's a big one that we need volunteers for as well.
So this is, I mean, there's just so much that you can volunteer with. There's something about volunteering to knowing that you're doing something really good for the community and for people individually, because you're going to get to meet some of these people. And if you work at a food site or a luncheon site, you might find that you'll get attached to some people that come every time.
Absolutely. And that's what I found in previous experience with the volunteers that we try and connect with folks in the home, for people that may not have family around but that live alone, that they connect with these people and they become their person, that they just call upon to do what they don't have family there to do.
And then maybe, if you start volunteering, then you think, well, maybe I'll just call them at 5 on Fridays or Saturdays or, on the weekend when maybe nobody's around and check on them, see how they're doing. And you become friends and you never know. I mean, it's just wonderful what you guys do. Yeah,
that's great.
So you work with caregiving and you work with respite care, you work with food programs, you work with helping people get to their doctor's appointments. There's charge for some things, is there?
There is no direct charge for any of our services. There is a suggested donation. Part of our funding requires that we collect a certain amount of our budget. So that's where the suggested donation. But nobody is turned away if they can't pay, no matter what the service is. One of our transportation services, which provides transportation to our social adult day program, which is another great program right here in Schenectady, that if people need adult daycare, there is a direct fee for that. But that's the only one where there's
you have to have support. I mean, let's face it. I mean, nothing. There's no free lunch. I mean, even there might be, but there isn't. Well, we know what we all need. Right. Well, we've been speaking with Marilyn Hildenbrandt, and she is the executive director of the. And the title is Catholic Charity Senior and Caregiver Support Services.
Correct.
What a title.
I know it.
Can you get that on your name tag?
You got to see my email address with my last name.
Right. Well, I'm so pleased that you came, and it's nice that
Lauren
could join you.
Absolutely.
She's my neighbor, so I get to see her frequently. But check out and see if you could do some volunteering. It's always great to know that you're doing something for someone else, and maybe you're looking to fill up some of those free hours that you have at home. We're going to take a quick break. I'm back again to our summer night, and then we're going to talk to Janice Waltz. We're going to find out what's going on at the Universal Preservation Hall and Carl's and Cap Rep. Lots of changes coming on. Stay tuned. I'm Ann Pearl, your host for Schenectady Today.
Hey, how are you doing?
And here we are back again. Janice just left the camera, and she's sitting here next to me, or I don't know, I wasn't sure what, she was doing something over there on the technical end. She helps out on the show, but right now she's wearing a different hat. She's with the Proctor's Historical Committee, which do such wonderful work in trying to preserve what has been here and what will be here. We'll put it that way.
Right.
So tell us what you're going to talk about today.
Well, it's funny, when you think of Proctor's, you usually think of Broadway shows and things like this. But if you're thinking about the larger group of Proctor's, the institution, it's becoming a reality.
It's a campus.
Oh my gosh, yes it is. And so just very quickly, you might have seen, your people might have seen in the paper a little while ago.
Yeah, that was Philip, yeah.
Yes, Philip was talking about how they're going to use the top floor of the Carl Company. Now, for those people in Schenectady, they know that Proctor's moved into the Carl Company after it closed down.
I remember that, yeah.
It had been going for 100 years. Charles W. Carl
I think
started
we have a
it.
picture of the Carl
yes,
Company.
There'll be some pictures here.
And
so Carl Company, and actually at one time they
there
had
it is.
five.
And you can tell it's right next to Proctor's.
It's right next to
Well,
Proctor's.
to the entrance to Proctor's.
Right. Into the entrance of Proctor's, and of course today as you walk down you see the apostrophe cafe and things, but you still have
we're filming downstairs
and
here.
we're filming down in the basement. But Proctor's Carl Company at one time had 5 stores. So they had their first one downtown was just a little bit farther down the block, but this is the location they were at for many years. And then they had one in Willowbrook, they had one in Saratoga, they had one in Amsterdam, they had one in Troy, and I forgot the last one. Oh, Clifton Park. So they had 5 branches.
We shop there all the time.
All the time.
And you got your little stamps.
And you got your gold bond stamps. And but they were successful in running that for 100 years. But good things pass, you know, and we know Wallace was here and Barney's was here, and at one time Carl Company was the only good department store left. But things passed. But luckily, unlike some buildings, and we won't mention Nicolaus's, but you know, some buildings are not saved in time and are not used. But luckily, the people in the bigger Proctor's think tank are always looking to see what can we do to expand their brand, as they call it today. So we know the bottom of Proctor's, or the bottom of Carl Company used by Proctor's is for 8-step coming in, and certainly other things. The second level was your box office now. Of course, it's the Apostrophe Cafe. It is the GE Theater that holds just under 500 people. And you know, they show the movies and smaller concerts there.
Yeah.
Now,
8-step does a lot there.
8-step does a lot there. Then the next floor up is the offices, and the big news, of course, is they had been given money years ago by Adeline Graham, who was a board member.
The Addy, right?
They're going to call it the Addy. You know, like the addict is going to be the Addy. But they're making that space into a 100-person theater. So they may show some of their movies up there. Also, some of that space will be used by the Empire State Youth Orchestra because they need practice places, training places, and so that whole floor can be used for training young people. You know that Proctor's has, like everybody else, a summer theater program. That will be a wonderful yes, program. It is. And now they'll have a designated space for that. But before they start using it for that, they're going to move the offices from their present floor up there temporarily, because when they put in the offices, they threw them in very, very quickly. It's like, okay, the theater's going, we need some people to work. Let's give everybody a cubicle.
The offices were all over in 440.
They were.
And then they got them over here.
And then they moved them over here. But they were put in very quickly. So now they've got time. They're going to move the offices up to the Addy level temporarily, then do a good job with the offices, then bring everything down, and then finish the theater. So a lot of construction. So that's just here at our wonderful Carl Company. And we had some other pictures. People remember the Carl Company, the wonderful sales, and of course, how does this impact our historical committee? Yes. So this would be the memories of many, many people in Schenectady.
Yeah, and there's the ads.
And then the ads. And the ads, I mean, how many of us would check those ads out all the time? But the windows, of course, the big windows that the Historical Committee is already organizing to change, as we do over the summer. Those, of course, are part of the Carl Company. So our Historical Committee is, again, connected with the Carl Company. But two other places in the
That's part of the Carl, of the
Proctors is, we know that they have joined forces with Cap Rep. Now Cap Rep, if any of you go, you know it was an old supermarket, but it gets flooded, and I didn't know this. Oh, they've had problems. So
they lost all their lighting one year.
Oh, yes.
My gosh.
Yes. So they have options on a couple different places, and I didn't know that.
This is one of the places.
This is one of the places. This is the Gomez, okay, and this is hopefully part of the revitalization of this area of Albany, because you know that's what the arts do. You start with a theater, you get a restaurant, and pretty soon it revitalizes it. It brings people in. But I didn't realize per contract that Cap Rep had to house their actors. From New York City. And I mean, I hadn't thought about it. I think of it in terms of Proctors. I know that we do that here and stuff, but I hadn't thought about it there. And so part of the Gomez building might be housing for the actors and apartments and bring it all together. And then another part of the campus in Saratoga, because Proctors is going to be the regional brand and not overtaking things, but working in collaboration, partnering, because the arts is so big.
You have to do that anymore.
You have to do it. But they're now working with Teddy Foster of the Universal Preservation Hall, which was built in 1871 as a Methodist church, and it was actually the most high Victorian, the best example of high Victorian at that time. And first it was a Methodist church, and then it was a Universal Baptist church, and I've sung there a couple different times, and it's a lovely building. And they also, like Proctors, had a very early cantilevered balcony. There's this much smaller, but yes, very unusual. Remember we talked about having the trouble that Proctors had getting their building certificate because of the cantilevered balcony. But wonderful things going on, and this is how you build a community. This is how you help your arts be sustainable. And how does it reflect on the historical committee? Now we've got two other buildings we have to get information about.
There's just so much going on, and it's so important to support the arts.
It is so important for so many things. It is jobs, it is money, it is community, as well as spiritual wonderfulness.
Exactly. Well, I'm not sure whether we have time to just kind of say what, do we have time to say who's coming on next week? Yep. I just want to tell Jan before we leave. Next week, coming up, we have an author talking about paranormal stuff. Derek Horton and the J Street Band will be performing. We have Recycling Schenectady with a master composting program. Intercenter Ministries been talking about lunches. They're going to be doing their school or their summer lunch program. And then we're having Vince Forte on. He's a sculptor.
A sculptor.
Sculptor.
Yes. No. And he makes those sculptors. Yes.
So we've got a great lineup coming up. But Jan, it's always a pleasure to have you on to talk about what's going on here at Proctors. It's an engine.
It is. It is a good, powerful engine, but it is only powerful when we support it. So come to the shows, go to Cap Rep, check if you're in Saratoga, see what they're doing at the Universal Preservation Hall. They're already doing some shows, but it's going to get better.
Yeah, good.
It's going to get better.
Well, thank you so much for, how's our time? Are we doing good? Or? I'm not sure what our time is. We're done. Okay.
Okay.
We're done. I saw that was just done.
Was done. There we go.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, okay. Mine just.